Hello there. About 4 years ago, I published a series of videos about how I designed what I thought would be my ultimate hen house, based on my needs and what I'd learned in nearly 20 years of keeping chickens. I'd previously designed and built several things that might loosely be considered chicken houses, each to serve a particular need at the time. But at the time I planned this one, I intended it would be my final and permanent house for my chickens for the rest of our lives. Bear in mind that I designed this to best suit me and my chickens, and I don't necessarily think that it would be best for everyone in their own situation. But over the years, I've gathered lots of information from other people's work, so I thought it was worthwhile sharing what I had learned and my experiences. So 4 years later, I thought it might be interesting to see how my design ideas had worked out in practice. So here we are. My first series of videos considered various aspects of the design in 4 videos, plus a final 5th in the series, just showing the steps in construction of my ultimate design. The first video was about location, because I think that's where everyone should start. Once I had checked that I was allowed to keep chickens in town, where was the best place to locate the hen house and chicken run? Once decided, it's hard to change that, but anyway, I've been happy with how it's all turned out. I can see my chickens from our outdoor living areas, as well as through a few of the house windows. In their range, the chickens enjoy the shade of the long fence, which leaves the sunniest parts of the yard for growing vegetables. The hen house and run is shaded by fruit trees in summer and then gets the winter sun. Perfect. The dimensions of my hen house were influenced by the number of chickens I wanted and therefore the length of perch required. At the time I was only thinking of 5 or 6 hens, but now I have 9. Chicken math is definitely a thing. But the 1.8 metre perch is long enough for all 9 hens, even on hot summer nights. As for the height, I wanted it to be tall enough for me to stand in, and it is. The whole house is actually small enough for me to do a lot of things without actually stepping inside. But it's really good to be able to get right inside when I need to. It makes keeping everything clean so much easier and doing anything else that I need to do. The height also makes it easier to get plenty of ventilation throughout the hen house without drafts. Then we considered the doors. I think doors are very important and often a bit overlooked in the design of a hen house. Yes, every door and window is going to cost extra for hinges and take extra time to construct, but trust me, having great access is going to make you very happy one day. A case in point is those 2 enormous doors on the sunny side of the hen house. The fact that I can open up almost the whole wall of the house makes cleaning a breeze. On this side of the hen house is the pop door that the chickens use. Although these cathedral doors can be closed, I've only had to do that a couple of times in about 4 years. Certainly a simpler and less fancy pop door, like the one in one of my earlier hen houses, would have served the purpose perfectly well. But these ones still make me smile. These little doors are cut out of the bottom of the person door that I use most of the time. In my original videos you would have seen that I had the top part of the door covered with polycarbonate to allow me to see into the hen house without opening the door. When we first built the hen house, it was nearly winter. My chickens were getting to be mature hens and I was in a hurry to allow them into their new accommodation. So we simply screwed the polycarbonate panel over the hole in the door that I had allowed for it. But I had always planned to modify this a bit The clear polycarbonate was great in winter, allowing in light while minimising drafts. But in summer I wanted more ventilation, so at that time I replaced the polycarbonate with metal mesh. You might know it as hardware cloth. This gives lots of wonderful ventilation in the hot summer days and hot summer nights. Because this side of the hen house faces away from the weather, the metal mesh is all that's needed to keep the hens safe and comfortable on summer nights. But when it was getting on to winter again, we needed that polycarbonate back. So I simply put a bit of a frame on the top and bottom of the polycarbonate with a couple of hooks and a magnet. When it looks like there's going to be a cool night, it's a very quick job just to put the polycarbonate over the top of the door, keep everything cozy at night. And that keeps everybody cozy at night. As I mentioned in my earlier video, the nest box could have been on the other side of the hen house, outside the enclosed run, but I still find it convenient to access the nest box from inside the run, since I'm going to check their food and water and generally keep an eye on things frequently anyway. One change I made to the nest box was to add a curtain. It didn't seem to be a concern when I only had 3 hens, but as my flock expanded, I got the impression that the hen on the nest was getting disturbed by the others coming in to find out how soon it might be their turn, or generally just being nosy. The so-called curtain is nothing fancy, just a piece of feed bag taped over the back of the nest box where it opens into the hen house. But then I noticed that on hot summer days it could get very hot in the nest box, even though there is shade cloth over the chicken run area. That nest box needed more ventilation. Well, I wasn't going to cut any holes in it because it needed to be weatherproof. So I came up with a very low-tech solution. On mornings when hot weather is predicted, I put a block of wood underneath the nest box. It props the lid open by an inch or 2, providing good ventilation. But the hen inside still doesn't see out of the box, so she still feels private and secluded to lay her egg. I did say that my original hens, the Barnevelders, didn't tend to stand on top of the nest box lid, but obviously some of my later hens do. And with that and the accumulation of dust on the top, sometimes this nest box lid definitely needs a good clean. It might have worked better if it had had more of an acute slope on it. So perhaps that's one change I could have made. If you've seen some of my very old videos, you'll know that I'm a fan of using pine shavings on the floor of the hen house. But I'd seen a lot of comments about poop trays, and I thought with my new hen house I might give them a go. It worked reasonably well for a while, but only if I actually cleaned that poop out every day. If I missed a day, that hen house very quickly became stinky. So in the end, I went back to using shavings on the hen house floor. When the poop lands in shavings, the moisture is immediately absorbed and there's no smell of ammonia even after weeks of accumulation. Eventually, the floor appears to be covered with lots of dry dirt and very little shavings, at which point I clear the whole lot out. It takes less than half an hour to sweep everything out into an old feed bag and shake fresh shavings onto the floor. The combination of old chicken poop and wood shavings makes fantastic garden fertiliser. But even without this added bonus, I think pine shavings are the easiest way to keep the hen house clean and sweet smelling. I published a video and a musical short about painting the inside of my hen house so that red mites had nowhere to hide. How well has that worked? Perfectly. In 4 years, I've yet to see a sign of red mites, even though my chickens do have contact with sparrows. Maybe I've just been lucky. The paint is wearing off a bit underneath where the perch sits, because the perch is just sitting there loose, but that's to be expected after 4 years. As for the colourful painting on the outside walls, that's of no practical purpose at all, it's just fun to do. In fact, most of the paintwork could do with a refresh, but I wanted you to see it the way it is now before I do that. Lots of videos about chicken houses will show the hen house as it is brand new, only just assembled, maybe even before a chicken has moved in. And that's not always a good indication of how it's going to work out in practice over years of having chickens in it. I did think that we had used stainless steel screws everywhere, but clearly this one wasn't, and neither were these. And these hinges are going a bit rusty now. So that's a couple of things I wish that I'd been a bit more careful about. So yes, my hen house has turned out to be perfect for my needs in this environment and with my chickens. It has indeed turned out to be my ultimate hen house. And I hope that sharing it with you will give you some ideas about how you can design your hen house to best suit the needs of you and your chickens. You're making lots of noise. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. See you next time.